Hi there, I'm Adeline and it is so nice to meet you. Welcome to the 63rd Celebrity Synastry chart reading where we will be covering Kim Scott and Eminem. For those new and returning, I take notes on a synastry chart looking at the personal planet signs aspects and birth times available house overlays. I also add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. Feel free to leave your own in the comments below. Before we start the reading, give this video a like and subscribe for more celebrity synastry chart readings from me. Let's get into it. Starting off with the sun, we have Kim's sun in Capricorn and Eminem's sun in Libra. They create a balanced family life together. In a way, they kind of have, I feel like, with their children. Like, that seems to be okay going for them. Kim is autocratic and Eminem is democratic. Eminem wishes Kim would take life less seriously, and Kim doesn't always agree with Eminem's superficial lifestyle. That is actually very interesting because he really did have that, more glamorous lifestyle. Some could say superficial, especially since they both, met together when they were younger and were in that poorer background. For Eminem to suddenly become rich and famous. Kim's sun overlaid in Eminem's second house. Marriage is not possible. I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem to be dealt with. Eminem is a valuable asset to Kim. In a way, he kind of is. Eminem may feel used, and Eminem senses Kim wants something more. Both may be working towards a common goal, and Kim sees Eminem as someone who can help her achieve goals. Their suns are squared together, so it's love-hate, and there's a lack of understanding. That is definitely one way to put it. Both assume the role of leader, and competitiveness is a problem. Challenge each other to grow and develop. I would hope so, because they've known each other for a long time, like since they were like teenagers, I believe. So you would hope they would grow at some point. Initially find each other charming and attractive. Kim's sun trine Eminem's Venus. There's a mutual attraction. They both value each other, definitely on Kim's end. It's a harmonious relationship and they are financially lucky people. Yeah, we saw before. It seems like Eminem is the one that is bringing that. Both share common interests and they accept and tolerate each other. Eminem finds Kim charming and intriguing, so I assume he would have been the one initially attracted to Kim and finding her charming and all of that. Eminem is willing to do anything to please Kim, and Kim feels more loving and beautiful around Eminem. Kim's sun square Eminem's Uranus. It's not predictable or stable. Yeah, I have to agree. I feel like this compared to marriage not being possible. Separation occurs and causes strain. I wonder, I feel like so far, with what we have seen so far, there seems to be a bit of a rift when it comes to Eminem's career, because we saw that Kim doesn't seem to agree with the lifestyle that comes with it, but also separation occurring and causing strain. Eminem would have to be, doing the tours and initially, having to travel out to actually make those connections and everything. So I assume potentially, well, obviously more, that Eminem's career seems to be a bit of a strain on their relationship. Eminem feels trapped by Kim over time. Yikes. Relationship can start and end suddenly, multiple times it did. Cannot rely on each other in the long term, potentially why marriage isn't possible. Kim grows tired of Eminem's consistency. Yeah, it seems like, Eminem's traveling around and everything and all of that seems to cause strain. Eminem changes and challenges Kim's life, definitely. And Kim initially finds Eminem attractive and appealing. Interesting how they both seem to initially find each other attractive. There seems to be a deterioration factor when it comes to the attraction so far.
Now for the intermission. This video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized synastry readings on my Etsy store, both basic and detailed. The basic one is very simple to understand. It's not overwhelming at all. It's pretty good for those that are beginners to astrology, just getting the head around astrology, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed one is just like what I do on my channel, just a lot of insight and interpretation on your chart. So if you are interested in that and everything else astrology and tarot related, readings and gifts, then definitely check out my Etsy store. Links are below. I'm always releasing new things, so definitely check it out if you're interested. You can even just favorite the store just to show your support for free. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the reading.
Eminem's Sun square Kim's Mercury, similar problem solving, and they don't always see eye to eye, as we've seen. Lack of emotional satisfaction, and they challenge each other's perspectives. There does seem to be a lot of challenging in the relationship, which, I don't think it's a bad thing, because we did see that they help each other grow and develop, so if it's that, yeah. Contrast in temperament and life goals. I assume the contrast in life goals is more relevant to this, particularly because it seems like Kim doesn't seem to agree with Eminem's sort of life goals and like pursuing a rap career and everything. Find it difficult to discuss ideas, and they both need to respect the other's differences. Kim sees Eminem as too self-centered. I can see why she thinks that, because if he's like going off, like if they are still in the relationship, but he's going off and potentially to Kim, it seems like he's prioritizing his career and everything that requires him to travel and takes him away from her. I could definitely see how she sees that self-centered. Eminem sees Kim as too rational and emotionally detached. Eminem's Sun sextile Kim's Mars. They motivate each other and they give each other space, definitely. They have different hobbies that we're seeing. Again, it seems like Eminem admires Kim's drive. What does Kim do, actually? That is actually a pretty good question. Like, out of everything I know about these people, somehow what Kim does, I have no idea. But I assume that Eminem would be admiring her drive because he seems to be driven as well in his career. Can further the other's goals, which we saw with Eminem and Kim earlier, or Eminem for Kim, I should say. Both give the other confidence. We saw this with Kim feeling more loving and beautiful. They participate in activities together and they are straightforward with each other. They tend to get annoyed with each other and neither feels blocked. So now it's time for Moon. We have Kim's Moon in Sagittarius and Eminem's Moon in Aquarius. They have similar emotional needs and it's an unconventional relationship. Definitely unconventional with emotional. So far we've seen that Eminem sees Kim as too emotionally detached. Potentially they could just tend to be more emotionally detached people, and that is just what works for them. Possibly share social circles. I mean, yeah, I assume they would have met in the same social circle when they were younger and everything. Like, that's, they're kids. Share humanitarian interests, and if views differ, it will be hard. It seems like they do differ, though, the views, and they have their differences, so understandably why it would be difficult, and why things like marriage aren't possible. Relationship lacks depth and intimacy. Kim's Moon overlaid in Eminem's first house. Both feel safe expressing their feelings. There definitely seems to be an element where they feel safe expressing those feelings, which is interesting because they seem to have their different feelings, but they don't seem to care, I guess. Kim brings out a sensitive Eminem, and Kim feels immediately safe with Eminem. It's a tender and warm relationship. I would assume there has to be some warmth if they are able to, express all of this to each other, and they don't seem to really care about their differences at all. They just go at it. Their moons are sextile to each other, so they cooperate domestically. That is another thing that has come up with the family, and honestly, I feel like that is something that they do seem to do well together. They obviously had a child together and they adopted together, and they do seem to be good with that, so that is nice to see. Sense the other's moods, and it's an instant empathetic bond. I assume the whole safety thing, they feel safe with each other. Both families likely play a role in this relationship. I mean, if they were young when they first met, to a degree they would, I assume. They may live together. I assume they would have had to at some point. Like, they had kids together, they were married, surely at one point. They feel safe with each other and they avoid hurting each other. Kim's Moon square Eminem's Venus. Previous relationships negatively impact this relationship. Since they were younger, and with what we know about Eminem, I have to assume, on Eminem's side anyway, his mother, potentially his relationship with his mother would have impacted, not only this relationship, but potentially other ones as well in the future. But particularly since this is his first relationship, I have to assume that his relationship with his mother would have impacted this one. For Kim's end, I'm not sure, could be as well with family as well, considering their age. There's a strong connection, and Kim may not be able to provide Eminem with the emotional nourishment he wants. Interesting. So she seems to be the more emotionally detached one, less emotional one. Eminem may struggle with his self-worth. That's kind of sad because it seems like Kim doesn't. She feels better in this relationship self-worth-wise. Living beyond means will create strains. I want to twist this a bit. I feel like the living beyond means refers to, Eminem's more upscale lifestyle that has changed, and I feel like that whole lifestyle, which we saw in the beginning, that is the thing that would create strains. Both need to resolve their internal issues for this to work. Their values are in conflict, we're seeing again. Both tend to take each other for granted, and both need to learn to compromise. Both like each other, but not their habits. I wouldn't be surprised, because they do seem to like each other and feel safe together, and they do seem to be very honest with each other. They're not blocked. They don't feel blocked in this relationship to express themselves. So I have to assume there would be those little things like habits that would, rile them up. Both may feel misunderstood. Particularly, so far we're seeing with Eminem emotionally, potentially Kim as well. Both will learn how to cooperate. I feel like they definitely would. They've been together for so long. You hope they would have learned something from this, but I feel like cooperation domestically, I feel like that whole co-parenting thing, that definitely would put them on the right track to cooperating, sorry. Eminem sees Kim as needy. Oh dear. So potentially, he wants to go out with his career and she wants him to stay potentially. Eminem doesn't always understand Kim's emotions. There seems to be an emotional disconnect here, for sure. Kim sees Eminem as narcissistic, so she really sees him as this self-centered, narcissistic guy. That word can be so hard to say sometimes, but really this big ego type of guy wants to pursue his rap career. I have to assume that would have really challenged their relationship. I wonder, obviously fate has had its way, and we can't change things, but I really wonder in an alternative universe what their relationship would have been like if Eminem didn't have this whole rap career, especially a successful one. Kim's moon opposite Eminem's Saturn, attracted to the other because of their different views. Oh no, I guess it's good because they do have different views and something needs to glue them together, but at what cost? Both have something the other needs. So far we have seen that Kim is the one that gets it with Eminem helping her with goals and self-worth and everything. Eminem, I'm not sure. I hope we'll see a bit more what he gets out of this particularly. I guess in a sense you could say that he has a very supportive partner through this and his career and everything, because despite Kim not seemingly liking it at all that Eminem is pursuing it, she seems to be sticking through it with him. Eminem tries to influence Kim and there's a difficult emotional connection. Oh yeah, big time. Eminem sees Kim as needy and immature, again the needy. Eminem needs to accept Kim's need for intimacy. Yeah, she seems to want someone close by and everything. I feel like Eminem is the one that is really creating that distance, which we did see that separation here results in a strain. Kim needs to be more independent from Eminem. In a way, yes. If Kim needs to be more independent from Eminem, in a way, yes. Because if she is choosing to stay with Eminem when she kind of knows what she, I guess, has signed up for in a way, she would need to, adapt to that sort of separation. Kim's moon sextile Eminem's Uranus. It's not a boring relationship. That is definitely one way to put it. It certainly isn't boring. They share common eccentric friends, so again, they're sharing common friends together. Talk about social and political issues. Going back to, I believe we did see they have those humanitarian interests. Kim creates a loving environment for Eminem, and mutual friends may bring them together. So definitely their social circle. Initially, I guess, in their life was very important to them. Eminem's moon sextile Kim's Mars. They are open with each other, we're seeing again, and Kim feels more assertive. We did see earlier that they both assume the role of leader, so mutual fascination. Eminem makes Kim feel at ease, potentially why she felt initially safe with him. Eminem feeds into Kim's ego, which I guess is why she would feel a lot more beautiful around Eminem and all of that. Her self-worth is going up. Kim helps Eminem to be more confident and bold. It would be kind of ironic if Kim gave Eminem the confidence with his, talent and everything, and then he ended up, pursuing his whole rap career and everything. That would be a bit ironic because Kim doesn't seem to like that. They both learn about themselves here and can be tumultuous at times. Yeah, so now it's time for Mercury. We have Kim's Mercury in Aquarius and Eminem's Mercury in Scorpio. Conflict between Kim's detachment and Eminem's attachment. I assume this would have to be related to emotionally. Eminem can be impatient with Kim's excessive analysis, and neither are self-centered. Even though Kim sees Eminem that way, I mean, in this relationship, neither of them, I mean, definitely Eminem seems to be, his career seems to be just as important as Kim, but it doesn't seem like he, despises Kim or uses Kim in any way. I feel like he's just, I guess, a product of his age, really. Like, you're young, you want to have a career and everything, now's the time to do it. He doesn't seem to be, against Kim or not wanting to do anything for Kim, if that makes sense. Kim's Mercury overlaid in Eminem's second house. Both get the impression that the other doesn't get them, and it's difficult to see eye to eye together. Oh gosh, yeah. And it's annoying, and it's kind of annoying because those differences just seem to attract them to each other. They both got that impression, the other doesn't get them, and they're like, perfect, this is exactly what I'm attracted to. They lack common views, which we keep seeing. It seems like on a humanitarian basis and social politically, they seem to be, pretty even, but it seems like other ways they don't seem to have that sort of common views and values. Kim's Mercury sextile Eminem's Neptune. There's easy communication. I feel like, yes, they do seem to be quite open with each other and everything. It doesn't always end well. It doesn't seem like it because they seem to disagree a lot. But at least, it's not bad to feel comfortable talking to each other about everything. They share creative interests. They are captivated by each other. We're seeing again with the mutual fascination. Both enjoy talking about art streams and spirituality, and they just get each other. I'm sure in the weird way they did, there is a reason why they kept going back to each other. Kim's Mercury trine Eminem's Pluto. They have deep conversations and they reveal deep dark secrets here. Eminem helps Kim open her mind, and it's a therapist-patient relationship. I have to assume the therapist would be more likely Eminem. I mean, it's hard to say for both. We did see earlier, it doesn't seem like Kim provides that sort of emotional nourishment for Eminem, but also, technically, Eminem doesn't seem to be around often enough. I mean, so who knows who is who? They get to the bottom of matters and they feel very close to each other, resolve difficult issues together, and Kim is fascinated with Eminem's depth. Eminem appreciates Kim's humor and easygoing nature. Interesting how we did see that he sees her as immature sometimes. So potentially, I don't know, maybe she takes it too far, or it's just one of those things, yes, he loves it about her, but also hates. It's love-hate. Eminem's Mercury trine Kim's Jupiter. Kim is enthusiastic about Eminem's thoughts and ideas. Oh no, so there does seem to be an element like Kim was initially supportive of him, but then, yeah, it turned. Strong friendship, and they have positive and inspiring conversations. So again, they do seem to converse really well together. Business together is advantageous. I don't know if they've held a proper business together, but in a way, you could see, particularly on Eminem's end, involving Kim in his business in a way, in his career, that was kind of advantageous, depending on how you look at it. Kim introduces Eminem to new ways of thinking, and they enjoy traveling together. Kim can be too lenient with Eminem. I wonder if this would be relating to potentially encouraging Eminem to pursue a career, because it seems like she did that, but potentially, maybe initially, she thought she would be able to, handle Eminem being away and everything and all of that and prioritizing that. And, maybe not being open with how she feels about it and how it makes her feel potentially. Eminem helps Kim with self-expression, and they come from different cultures. I am not sure in what way, because I believe, is it Detroit, Michigan they were from? I want to say somewhere around that area. Both came from a poor background, I believe, and they met in school or something. So I have no idea what these different cultures would be. who knows? They have an optimistic meeting. I mean, they seem to have met as friends, so. Eminem's Mercury, Trine Kim's Saturn, they work well together. Again, in a way, they do work well together. They think in similar strategic ways. Eminem appreciates Kim's mature thinking and sense of purpose. We did see earlier that Eminem admires her drive and everything, so now I really wonder what she does, because it seems like Eminem really appreciates it and admires it for her. Kim helps Eminem bring structure to his life. I mean, if she did help him and sort of nurture that, his initial talents and everything, that, it is a certain structure that has been brought to his life. Definitely financially, they have serious conversations. I assume it would just be related to like their deep chats and everything. Eminem feels he can learn a lot from Kim, and they have effective communication, solve problems together carefully and logically. I really like that they seem to be able to solve problems together really well. We've seen that already. If anything, they seem to be very cooperative with each other, which I think is nice, particularly like, having kids together. You would want them to have a good sort of like co-parenting relationship. They are a team in a business, and it's a long-term karmic relationship. Again, another way to put it. It's a relationship of spiritual evolution. So now it's time for Venus. We have the Kim's Venus in Aquarius and Eminem's Venus in Virgo. Enjoy meaningful conversations together. Again, they seem to love talking together. They want to talk about different things. Yeah, that seems to be the issue. Like, they seem to love talking to each other. I don't know if we've covered anyone else like this, where they seem to just love talking to each other and are obsessed with it. And it's just funny that we also see that they really disagree a lot. Eminem values Kim's presence, and Eminem needs to understand Kim's need for independence. Interesting. Potentially Kim is conflicted, I have to imagine, because she seems to be wanting to cling on to Eminem, and he seems to sense that, he sees her as needy and everything. But at the same time, there is this element. He appreciates her drive and sense of purpose, and she needs to be more independent. Kim's Venus overlaid in Eminem's second house. Kim is focused on what she can get out of the relationship. I don't like that. Kim doesn't feel committed to Eminem, and Eminem is careful to not get emotionally invested in Kim. Well, that makes sense. It doesn't seem like emotionally they seem to mesh well together. I just don't like the other points, considering, it's not like they even met when Eminem was, like, successful and everything. But potentially one of the times, when they did have the ons, I should say, potentially Kim was motivated to get back with Kim because of what she can get out of it, and in that way didn't feel committed to Eminem anymore. Kim's Venus sextile Eminem's Neptune. Kim is enchanted by Eminem, and they prefer to see each other as a fantasy. I mean, for these two, potentially, they do see each other, like, not as a fantasy in, like, the sort of, like, in the literal meaning of the word of fantasy. I think you could also see this as they prefer to see each other as this sort of, like, the whole illusion, I guess, of having a first love, that whole sort of fantasy of having a first love, that whole trope in their life. Potentially they prefer to see each other as that, and why they kind of broke it off many times, potentially, if that makes sense, hopefully it did. They are tolerant of each other, which would help them in their disagreements and everything. They share spiritual interests. This keeps coming up as well, the spiritual relationship here. Kim may expect too much from Eminem, and Eminem is easily charmed by Kim. Yeah, they do seem to be quite charmed by each other. Kim's Venus trine Eminem's Pluto. It's emotionally fulfilling. I guess for Kim, she seems to be a bit more emotionally detached. Eminem, he seems to want some of that emotional nourishment, so I can't see how it would be emotionally fulfilling for him. On Kim's end, it seems to be more likely, potentially the whole spiritual thing would help them both with that. It's not likely to grow stale, it certainly hasn't. They want to have children together, so again, we're seeing the whole, like, sort of domestic situation as well. Both enjoy growing from this relationship, which is nice. It's, unfortunately, things didn't end well or go well as they could, but it is nice they seem to appreciate growing with each other. Kim sees Eminem as a soulmate, and Kim considers Eminem to be irresistible. Eminem's Venus opposite Kim's Jupiter. It's a promising relationship. Certainly in the beginning, I can imagine it was. particularly for Kim's end, it looks promising. Your man is about to be having this great career, or potentially having this great career. That would feel promising. And also for them, them feeling very safe together, being able to tell each other anything, I feel like that would definitely be quite promising for them. Share an optimistic life together. I mean, they kind of do. Both have a problem with promising more than they can give. Yikes. They are generous with each other. Eminem's Venus sextile Kim's Saturn. Eminem sees Kim as a long-term person in his life. Oh, there's a strong commitment, and Kim stabilizes Eminem's emotions, which I feel like would help when it comes to his career and everything. You do need to harness your emotions and energy to that. So it's very interesting to see. We're seeing a lot of Kim seems to have helped Eminem with his career initially, and sort of like, harnessing his craft, willing to make sacrifices for the other. I assume this is why Kim is, okay with, in a way, letting Eminem fly and everything. Because she wants to make that sacrifice for him. They help each other in career. We have been seeing this helping in the career and everything, so I really wonder what Kim does now. Eminem's Venus square Kim's Neptune. Eminem needs to make sure he falls in love with the real Kim, not his illusion. So preferring to see each other as a fantasy has some reality to it. Kim needs to be careful to keep promises and not make huge ones. And I don't like, because we did see before they have an issue making promises they can't keep. Kim has a hard time dealing with Eminem because he doesn't want to see reality. Maybe he's a bit delusional about things. I mean, got him to where he is, so extremes of trusting. I assume this would just relate to like the whole love-hate thing they have. So now it's time for Mars. We have Kim's Mars in Sagittarius and Eminem's Mars in Libra. Kim gets irritated when Eminem defends her. This is interesting. I would have to assume, even though it didn't seem to be the dominant, theme for Eminem, potentially if Eminem would defend her publicly, you could even see this as when he publicly speaks up about her, she's irritated about it. Kim is dominant. So again, we're seeing she seems to be the more assertive one here. Eminem grows to resent the inequality. It's very interesting because it seems like within themselves, there seems to be the power imbalance, towards Kim, which you wouldn't think that considering Eminem's, status and financial. Let's say Kim's Mars overlaid in Eminem's first house. Kim inspires Eminem to be brave and encourages Eminem to be proud of who he is. Again, it seems like she really nurtured his initial, rap career, so to speak, his talents. Eminem has a desire to seduce Kim, and Kim is blunt with Eminem. They both seem to be quite blunt with each other. Kim's Mars opposite Eminem's Saturn. Both discover what they will want in a relationship. See, on one hand, I don't feel like this is bad since they met when they were young. I think it is just, the fact that it lasted so long and there were so many ups and downs and they had a family together, it's a bit, if it, works out now, I guess it's not bad. It's about the journey, it's there. Eminem finds Kim's energy attractive initially. I assume this will be relating to the whole maturity thing and the whole needy thing. It seems like he does seem to like her childlike qualities, but deteriorated. There's a difference in views we're seeing again. Eminem becomes annoyed with Kim's childishness. What did I say? Eminem tries to control Kim. Oh no. Kim becomes rebellious to Eminem, and Kim feels like she's always being watched by Eminem. You could also see this as she feels like she's always been watched because of Eminem. I'm sure she would have gotten some of the paparazzi as well. She would have definitely gotten some of that. And it's kind of his fault. Kim's Mars sextile Eminem's Uranus. They encourage the other's independence. For Eminem supporting Kim's end, yes, and it doesn't seem to be a whole lot of conflict. Kim definitely does the same for Eminem, but I feel like with what we've seen here, she seems to feel a bit conflicted about that. It's an experimental relationship and they both share humanitarian interests. Again, we're seeing this. Eminem makes Kim anxious. Eminem's Mars square Kim's Saturn. Kim may try to control Eminem as she thinks he is immature. Oh no, so they both see each other as immature and everything, yikes. Kim's standards are in conflict with Eminem's efforts, and Eminem tries to impress Kim. Oh, yikes, that's not great. Eminem's Mars sextile Kim's Neptune. Eminem is captivated by Kim, we're seeing again. Eminem sees Kim as spineless. Oh, that's kind of sad though. Like, and in a way, I kind of see that. It doesn't seem like, definitely hasn't created a career on rival with Eminem, whatever she is doing. And if he sees her as a bit more childlike and immature, oh, that's not fun. Relationship seems unbalanced to outsiders. Yes, I think the public would have to agree with that one. Eminem's Mars conjunct Kim's Pluto. It's competitive, we're seeing again. I'm not sure in what way. I don't believe Kim makes music at all, does she? That would be wild. Kim brings depth. I assume this would be in a sort of more like talent way, if that makes sense. Not like as a talent manager, but emotionally she doesn't seem to be. Communication-wise, I feel like she would. Power struggles, yeah, I would assume so, because it seems like on the public, definitely Eminem seems to hold more power, and in a financial way and status way, I assume he would as well. But everywhere else, Kim seems to try to hold that power. Or if are likely to transform here. I mean, yeah, they became full-grown adults, so that's, yeah. So that was the final aspect, bringing us to the end of the reading. If you are still watching, please share your thoughts below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this one. I feel like this was definitely a very interesting one. Definitely an interesting couple to look into, their dynamics and everything. And if you have made it this far, please consider subscribing for more. I post these weekly. Besides that, give this video a like, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!